If you fire a 105 mm military artillery shell into a peaceful, snow-capped mountain peak, tourists will call you crazy. But if you do not fire that shell, the entire valley below might be buried under an unexpected avalanche. The veteran forecaster knows they are deliberately triggering a controlled disaster to keep everyone alive. And if you are the kind of person who constantly finds themselves overthinking, overpacking, and meticulously imagining the absolute worst-case scenario before stepping out the door, you are the artillery. The self-help industry has built a massive empire on a single, highly marketed illusion: the idea that optimism is the only valid currency of survival. You are told to manifest the win, to visualize success, and to completely ignore the treacherous terrain beneath your feet. Society treats you like you are broken. Like, if you just bought a gratitude journal, all your problems would vanish. But forcing good vibes onto a volatile reality is exactly like walking blindly onto a loaded, untested snowpack. The surface looks pristine. Underneath, the weak layers are buckling under the immense weight of unacknowledged risk. Right now, so many creators and professionals are terrified of being left behind. We are staring down massive, unpredictable shifts, like the integration of AI into the creator economy by 2026. But when over 60% of US adults live paycheck to paycheck according to Lending Club, and over 40 million battle baseline anxiety according to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, telling them to simply manifest safe passage is not just naive. It leaves them entirely exposed to the elements. It doesn't work. You are preparing for a major client presentation. The glow of the laptop illuminates your tight jaw. You are drafting 3 different contingency plans for a slide deck that is already finished. You are packing spare cables, downloading offline backups, and mentally rehearsing the exact words you will say if the primary contractor suddenly pulls out or the technology completely fails. Society tends to label this behavior as a severe liability. They call you a buzzkill. They treat your caution as if it is a broken mindset that needs to be cured. Look, I used to hate this about myself. I really did. I thought my mind was just stubbornly wired for misery. But Dr. Julie Norem's research on a concept called defensive pessimism offers a completely different lens. The evidence appears to point in a surprising direction. For some individuals, deliberately lowering expectations and meticulously mapping out worst-case scenarios actually manages anxiety and improves cognitive performance. This means that what feels like spiraling is often a highly advanced tactical maneuver. You are executing a controlled release. By deliberately detonating the terrifying possibilities in a safe mental environment, you actively neutralize the paralyzing kinetic energy of the threat before you ever step onto the mountain. You strip the disaster of its teeth. You map out the exact sequence of failures, and then you build the bridge over each one. For many, forcing a positive mindset does not relieve anxiety. It removes their primary tool for managing it. Your anxiety is not a defect. It is the raw material you use to engineer a safeguard. This brings into focus the true market value of the vanguard. In high-stakes environments, whether Wall Street, aerospace, surgery, or avalanche forecasting, pure optimists are a severe liability. They freeze when the snowpack fractures because their entire strategy relied on the disaster avoiding them completely. I mean, think about it. Would you want a blindly optimistic surgeon? You do not freeze because you have already rehearsed this exact disaster 100 times in your head. Your pessimism is not a bad attitude. It is a highly compensated premium risk management asset. You are the elite snow scientist. You dig into the stratigraphy of the project, actively hunting for the weak layers and engineering the crumple zones. Dennis Waitley famously said to expect the best, plan for the worst, and prepare to be surprised. You carry the emotional and logistical heavy lifting, so the optimists can safely admire the view. If this specific cognitive split is something you have been carrying alone, you might want to subscribe. We decode these exact invisible burdens here every week. Yet, carrying this tactical foresight exacts a heavy toll. But the psychological consensus often misses the root cause. Your deepest exhaustion does not actually come from the anxiety itself. It comes from the suffocating effort of trying to hide it. You are sitting at a celebratory dinner with friends. Everyone is raising a glass, laughing, enjoying the ignorant bliss of the tourist. You smile and clink your glass, but you cannot actually hear the joke being told. Your mind is quietly calculating the financial ruin of a vendor delaying the next shipment, or the exact sequence of apologies you will need to issue if the timeline collapses. You are physically at the table, but mentally walking the perimeter, ensuring the structural integrity of the evening. For years, you have been carrying the weight of two realities: the reality of the risks you clearly see, and the reality of the forced smile you wear to make other people comfortable. That cognitive split is what drains your battery. Society demanded you wear the forced smile, yes, but the pattern was built by circumstances. It is maintained by habit. Habits can be examined. The exhaustion is the realization that preparation became your substitute for peace. You decided long ago that if you could not feel safe in the world, you would at least be indispensable to it. You do not just over-prepare to survive the avalanche. You over-prepare so that when the disaster strikes, you finally have permission to drop the exhausting mask of optimism and do what you were built to do. You convert raw, unshaped fear into actionable leverage. When you finally allow yourself to fire the cannon, the pressure breaks. You safely trigger the avalanche in your mind so that when reality hits, your baseline is entirely calm. Well, not calm exactly, but prepared, because you have already survived the worst-case scenario in advance. The threat is gone. There is a profound nobility in that burden. Do not confuse what you do with fatalistic pessimism. The fatalist believes the avalanche is coming, so they sit and wait to freeze. Defensive pessimism is an active, kinetic maneuver. You believe the avalanche might come, so you build a diversion dam. The environment that first demanded this tactical foresight may not be here anymore. You are. The next time you catch yourself mapping out a worst-case scenario, you do not need to apologize for it. You can simply recognize it for what it is, your specific way of finding the ground so you can walk safely forward. Stop apologizing for it. Next time someone calls you a buzzkill, let them. Then save their life. If someone in your circle carries the heavy lifting for everyone else, send this to them. They need to know their armor is a feature, not a flaw.